right, my Italian food fanatics, today we're going to learn one of the core competencies for finer cooking, for refined cuisine, and that is how to make tomato concasse. Now, it does have a French name, but don't be fooled. Doesn't matter whether you're Italian, French, German, American, Mexican, doesn't matter. Tomato concasse is one of those core principles. What it essentially is a way to remove the skin from the tomato, and we remove the insides, the seeds, and then chop up the tomatoes to create basically chopped tomatoes, but they're skinless and seedless. And that is tomato concasse. It's used as a refinement when we want to add tomatoes to a particular dish. So the first thing that we have to do is get a pot of water on the stove and boiling. It's a very simple operation. Anybody will be able to do it. There's a couple of little secrets that you need to know, and I'll teach you all about that right now. All right, my Italian food fanatics. I don't think this is not rocket science, but I'm showing you anyway. A sauce pot of water. I'm putting it on the fire to boil. In the meantime, we're going to process our tomatoes. So we'll wait for this to come to boil. No salt, nothing, just plain water. All right, my Italian food fanatics, how are we going to process these tomatoes? It's very simple. First, we're going to remove this core part here. It's not necessary to be very clean with this. Essentially, there are tools that you can buy that do this that I actually own, but I'm just using a regular knife just to show you that anybody can do this with literally any implement. I'm trying to be a little careful with regard to taking that out. I don't want to take too much, although that is a little bit deep. Then you just X the bottom. And then we're going to take our knife and poke holes all around the tomato. And that's basically it. In the meantime, while this is done, and while we're waiting to get the water to a boil, we will get a bowl of ice water and a scooper. All right, my Italian food fanatics, while we're waiting for our water to come to the boil, I have placed in a small bowl ice with water, more ice than water. And we've done this because we're going to use this ice water to shock the tomatoes when they come out of the boiling water. This is to stop the cooking of the tomato instantly, and also it's going to make peeling the skin of the tomatoes a lot easier. You'll see what I mean in a moment. All right, my Italian food fanatics, our water has come to a boil. We'll now take one of our tomatoes and submerge it in there. And we're going to wait about 10 seconds. And that's it. And it will now go into the water. I'll do it again with the second one, except I'll give you a view of it actually going into the ice. Let's put it in here. And now we'll wait a few seconds. And you can tell when you look at the bottom of the tomato, when the skin begins to pull back, that's about the time when you should pull it out of the water. We don't want this to overcook. The skin is now coming off, you see that? And now we're going to put it directly into the ice water. Let me move this. It's going to get a little... Right? So they are now in there, and they're going to be in there for a few seconds for them to totally stop cooking. and basically shock them. That's what they call it. Shocking. We're going to shock the tomatoes so they don't further cook. We'll be back for the peeling and everything in just a moment. All right, my Italian food fanatics, it's been about a minute or so, and our tomatoes have been in the water. And you'll notice how now the skins have basically come off. And what we're going to do is peel them. It couldn't be easier to peel these tomatoes by virtue of the fact from what we've done. All right? And it'll be slippery, so you have to be very, very careful. But the skins on these tomatoes will come off without much effort at all. Okay? And there you go, a completely clean tomato. Let's do the other one real quick. Look how easy it is. Sometimes it won't be as easy, but in this case, there are no issues at all. I mean, it just comes across. They come off so easily and without any effort whatsoever. See, there was just a little bit of effort I had to, which is no effort at all. And that's it. So now these have been peeled. There's one other operation that we have to do before we can call this concasse done, and that is to open them up. And what we're essentially going to do, let me move these out of the way, is take this and just squeeze it like that. It's a little harsh, but that's what you do. Plunge it in the water, and we're going to remove all of these seeds and the pulp on the inside here. All right, so we've gone through all of this trouble because we want this to be seedless. This is essentially what we want, is this outside skin. All right, we'll do it with the others. We'll do it with the other side. Just squeeze, and most of that stuff will come out. And then whatever doesn't come out, you can manually remove. I like to take the center portion out, although it's not entirely necessary. It doesn't look good now, okay? But it will in just a second. Let me do it with the other half so you can get a better look. I don't know if I'm holding it properly here. It's difficult to do this stuff and film at the same time. Squeeze. Remove the pulp. Remove the center. Again, you don't have to remove the center. It's just that I do, to be a little bit more refined. And there you go. Do it with the other half. Remove the seeds. And there we have it. Now we're done with our water. And all we need to do now is to essentially cut these up. I'm doing them one by one, but if we were in industry, I do the whole thing at the same time. And then we're going to cut them into squares, essentially. And that, my friends, is tomato concasse. You don't have to be exacting. All right, let's do two at a time here now. Turn them this way to get them oriented so that they're the same. Turn them 90 degrees. And voila, tomato concasse. I'm going to put these in a little bowl, and I'll show you different ways of using them. In fact, when you're making a traditional marinara sauce or a red sauce in a more refined way, this is what you'll be using. tomato concasse as opposed to canned tomatoes or anything like that, to add a freshness to the particular product. No seeds, no pulp. Although Ferran Adria, the acclaimed Spanish chef, discovered that the seeds and the pulp actually contain the more flavorful parts of the tomato as opposed to the pulp. As opposed to the meat of the tomato, sorry. So anyway, but this is tomato concasse. Now you know how to make it. I'll be back. All right, my Italian food fanatics. And so we're done with our concasse. And I'm going to put it in this particular container. I like to use stainless steel even around the house. You can buy these off of the internet. Why do we use stainless steel in the kitchen? Number one, and the biggest reason, is it's extremely easy to clean. All right? And these are durable too. You buy one of these, it'll last you for the rest of your life. So that's the reason why, and they come in all different sizes and depths. The full size is known as a hotel pan, and that comes at a 2-inch depth. And then when you say a full size, like a full 400 would mean a full size but 4 inches deep, a 6. And then there's half and a quarter and an eighth. This is an eighth. This is an eighth 4. So 4 inches deep and an eighth. Anyway, so our tomato concasse is ready. I'll put this in the refrigerator, and we're going to use it at some point in the very near future. Thank you for your time. Enjoy. Have a nice day.